It's important to understand this, guys. Whenever you're on the bottom in side control, your opponent is going to be focusing more on one of two things, either a lot of shoulder pressure. Put on the shoulder pressure. That's it, okay? Shoulder pressure. Apply shoulder pressure there. See? You can tell that his hips are light here. His hips are high. It's easy to lift him up because his weight is right here. Or sometimes the guy will spread out like a big sprawl. That's it. Not so much shoulder pressure, but his hips are super heavy and you can't get this hand in here. See? So those are the two ways. It's humanly impossible for the guy to put pressure here and here at the same time, okay? So the first thing you have to do is observe, get into a position you prefer. All right. Look, you need to notice where the guy's pressure is. Either there's going to be a lot of pressure here, or a lot of pressure here, or just a bit of pressure on both. But there's never going to be a lot of pressure on both. It's just not possible, okay? He can't. It's impossible. Japa here is in side control, more balanced. He doesn't have a lot of shoulder pressure, not a lot of hip weight, but it's balanced. There's good shoulder pressure here. It could be better here, Japa. That's it. Good shoulder pressure. Nothing that's going to stop me from moving, but it does make my movement harder. And to go a good hip position here. Nothing too heavy, but just enough to lock down my movement. So, the first thing I need to do here in side control is this elbow of mine by my head. Let's go. First thing I need to keep in mind, this position is bad for me. How it get worse? It gets worse if the guy mounts, or obviously, if he submits me. Right off the bat here, I have two subma the way he is right now. I have two dangerous submissions here. He can go for a Takedown if I try to push him away any old way. Exactly. Or like he is there. His right hand grabs behind my shoulder. Pulls, he spins for the arm lock. That's it. There you go, see? So those are the two main submissions that he already has ready right here. How gonna avoid that? Elbow down. So that elbow over there, I'm going to keep it tucked and tight to the ground. That already stops him from moving up to the Takedown and keeps him from going for the arm lock. Now I have to do the same thing with my other elbow. Why? Because here there is a move where he can also play this hand over here, play it over here now, and build a hand triangle there. Look. Go for it. Look. Go for it. Okay? That's dangerous. That's a submission threat. And also as I try to escape, depending on how I try to get out, he can go to the north-south position to stop my escape. That's it, exactly. Either he finishes me, or at the very least, he's got me stuck here again. So, the first thing I need to do in side control, for the love of God. Man, I saw this in the UFC this weekend and in your UA Warriors fight. It was exactly this. My hand. This is a big gift. Sometimes the guy isn't even thinking about the Takedown or even wanting it, but you give it so eagerly that he'll take it. So keep your elbow tucked in. The other elbow needs to come in here and put the blade of my forearm blocking his hip. What should I do if he's closer there? Bring hips closer. If he's even closer and I'm having trouble getting in, I'll keep this position and bump my belly up a bit. I got my elbow in there. Don't rest your hand on the guy's hip. Don't hold here, because if Chapa's got some tricks, he'll hit a slow hip escape. Look, if he does it slowly, he'll wreck my wrist. I've hurt my wrist a few times myself trying to push here like this. When I was younger, don't push here or it'll mess up your wrist. So, if he's closer, get closer, Japa. I've already closed off this elbow, fought for position, got my elbow in, and used the blade of my forearm. What is this enough for? So that he can't move toward my head. See? You can't move to my head. Now the objective is this, relieve the pressure here. Because automatically, when you lock your forearm there, he compensates by putting pressure on your shoulder. This is natural. It is expected. It's expected for your opponent to do that. I locked it here, so he's going to increase the pressure there. If I take some pressure off the hips, he feels it, only one place to stabilize, so all the pressure goes here. So now I have to find a way to relieve this pressure on my shoulder. Third movement, put it here. First movement, I locked it. Second movement, I fought for it, locked the forearm. Third movement, without moving my elbow from where it is. In other words, it's not like this, okay? I'm going to rotate my forearm. It's like my thumb could touch the floor, you know? See? I turn the back of my hand and come in here. This is super important. Really important. It's not here. If I bend my wrist here, I don't have any strength at all, none. I can't do it. It's right here. See? It's already tight. I'm going to make this turn here. Look, thumb down to the floor. Hold steady there, Japa. I'm going to put the bone of my wrist right on his head. Now I'm going to slice it across his face. Look, inwards. Until I can get a grip on his trap muscle and drive my elbow up into this shield. Man, if the guy is very strong. I'm here. He will bring this head in here. I can't get my arm in. I'm going to scrap a bit. I got in. The bone made contact. This hand here can come in to help. Palm facing up. Stay strong there. Look, it helps. I grabbed it. Shield. I put the shield there too. At first, I just want you guys to get here. 3 steps, okay? We already know that. Physics says 2 bodies can't occupy the same space. Right? So, which one has more mass to get in here? This or this? Plus the glove? Won't fit. Especially because when I do this, I contract my forearm and I don't have any mobility here. But if I use the knife hand, and remember, right, whenever I have a movement where I need to get in quickly, it's a fast spin, it's not here. Look, it's here, look. If I do it, if I force it here, all at once, my hand doesn't hit the ground, you see? If I do it hard, it hits, see? Again, forcing it, my hand stops here. If I throw it all at once, it hits. So this movement here is just like putting the hook in the guard. It's not here. Look, it's here. Here, it's the same thing. See? Steady.
Okay.
Oh, it wasn't. It was. See? I liked it. I liked it. Okay? Because when I do this with power, I overcome the resistance of the muscle that's the antagonist of the movement. Here, when I'm doing this, my brachialis and biceps are pulling my hand toward me, and my triceps is resisting, actually contracting and creating tension in the opposite direction. If I do it quickly, see, I overcome the resistance of the antagonist muscle. So it's the same thing. I'm here in half guard, and I want to get this hook inside. If you try to put it in here, it won't work. It's here. A quick movement, and to slip your hand through it's right here, okay? Go! That's perfect. If you push his face, he'll catch you in a katagatame. See? Push his face too much and you'll get caught in katagatame. Guys, this hand that shields the face, I have to imagine you're holding a shield. It's called a shield because it's like you're actually holding one. Picture 100 sons of bitches coming at you from the side, like Spartans, trying to kill you. You push one forward and stay right here. Here I can take a hit. If I push forward and someone hits this shield, it'll hit my face. Here I don't have any strength. I have no strength here. This here is going to hit me in the face. A shield is really a shield. Don't get carried away and try. This is just to create space to get out of the position. No, don't think you're going to be able to push the guy back from here, okay? Because if you start moving out of this angle and start pushing the guy's face, he'll come in with his hand, hit your triceps, go for a katagatame, all right? So don't try to push. It's much more about creating a little space so you can breathe comfortably without being smothered, okay? Stay there. You messed up, you'll be example. Look at how he's holding the Spartan grip there with his little hand, okay? He thinks there's this tiny little weak muscle here, and he thinks it's going to hold people back, 100 guys. Man, crush him here, Zay. Push him. It's not going to work. Back. Forearm blade. Keep your elbow at an angle. Stay firm. Push him, Zay. Look at the smart switch you just made. You took out AM, a little muscle that looks like a thread, a tiny hair here, and you put in the forearm blade. Now it's your triceps holding him. That's a different story. It's not just your hand, guys. Forearm blade on the throat. He puts his hand in, kneads it with his hand. Another screw up can happen here. Let's fix it. He didn't do it this time. I'm dying for him to do it. Go ahead. Let me see. Signed. He didn't do it. Great. He messed up once. Both. You lose. Another mistake that can happen is the guy bringing his elbow in here. Look. Okay? This is a real mess. The elbow has to stay out over the deltoid. Otherwise, the guy locks it up and tuck your elbow in here a bit more. Close it. Look. Gaucho, get out of there. He can't get out. So don't let the tip of your elbow go under your partner's shoulder, okay? Elbow tip rests above shoulder. When I say there are 3 little steps, you have to follow the order of the steps. Why? Look what Twin did here. He brought this one in. He didn't bring this in. Was this the second step? He didn't come in. You can here. When I do this, Japa puts all the P, you have to put all the pressure on me, like this. Very face. I'm not gonna do it. Why? He's able to bring his hips closer to put more pressure. Now, if I do 1, 2, when I start working here without pushing my hips forward, see, my hips are blocked back there. Notice here, put pressure here, look. Just by putting my forearm a bit of pressure, look here. See how it really relieves the pressure on my face? Look. So, trying to do this here without bringing the elbow in is much harder, way harder. Woman watch. When we work the 1.5 here with a big sprawl, see, then it's fine. Here there's not much reason for me to come in. Even so, if I can get in, it still helps. But here I can go straight because his hips on the ground are keeping his head away. Now, if his hips are in play over there, here, look, here I'll never be able to get through. Here I need to do 1, do 2, see? Now here, yes. If he comes closer, closes the space. Look, the most he can come in here, because my arm hand is holding him there. See? Do you notice? My elbow is tucked in here the whole time. Look, check out the little scoop I make under his neck. See? To keep it tight. When I do it like this, it's just triceps. He can still crush, that's it. But when I scoop like this, I put my chest and shoulder into play. Try to crush now. He can't crush it. So look, 1, see, shoulder and chest in play. Look, everything's tight. I'm keeping him. I'm strong as hell. Okay? Guys, for the love of God, I'm begging you in the name of Jesus and the gods of fighting. We're going to advance the position. Advance the position. What does that mean? I can't stop doing what I was doing. I'm going to keep doing what I was doing, plus a few more things. Why am I saying advance the position? Because if some of you here replace this, so we're going to add 1 more move at the end, and then you stop doing. For example, now we're going to do a hip escape, hip with a leg run. Then you guys will want to start from here. Look. Oh no, for God's sake, it's about advancing. Let's do the same 3 little steps. 1, 2, 3. Okay? I'm solid here. Be careful not to overdo it or start pushing. Whenever I start to extend my arm, I get caught in a katagatame. He locks his forearm there. See? Do you understand? I kept the tension, meaning it's not about pushing. It's not pushing. I just keep it tight so he doesn't follow me. Outside foot. I'm going to step as far as I can. Tiptoes. Okay. Boom. I'm going to keep the tension here, and now in this space here, my ass goes in there. Look, okay? Maximum miss. Try to turn on all 4s here. 90% of people try turning all 4s. Why is that? Look here. I've got a shoulder blocking me here, and I have all of his weight to fight against. Unless I have the strongest abs in the world to shrimp out, I'll waste a lot of energy. But now, I keep it tight. Once again, on the tip of my toes, I slide my hips into the space. Look. There we go. Now it takes less strength to do this. But there's still a shoulder in the way. So what do I do? Once again. Look at that. He's over there now. Now I can turn without having to fight against any of his weight here. I'm going to spin in place. This foot goes under the other and I turn. See? Joanna asks if there's time to do all this. It won't be exactly like this. And that's why I might have to do more than just 3 hip escapes. Fight move Japanese style. If it doesn't happen, don't just rush in. What did I mean by that? So why did I do these variations? 1, 2. So you understand that as long as my body and his body are making an L shape, I'm fighting against a lot of weight. When our bodies are kind of making a V, I'm still dealing with a lot of weight. When I manage to get us into an I shape, just a straight line, there's no weight for me to fight against here. I can spin underneath him easily. So what is it? That's why, if you're playing from the bottom, you need to have a lot of hip mobility. That's why the guy who escapes his hips like this is really going to have a hard time getting out from underneath. The guy hip escapes like this, look my hand. It's going to be much easier because at the end of the day, what's the point? My forearms stop him from following my movement, or at least slow him down from keeping up with me. And while he's trying to catch up, I'm already throwing my hips way back. So, like I always say, it's the 100-kilo escape. When in doubt, overdo it. When in doubt, do one more hip escape. Oh, maybe I can go now. Escape again. You won't lose by doing this. The worst that can happen is maybe you won't be able to spin straight into the single leg, but you'll be able to turn without using strength, all right? I did step 1, I did step 2, I did step 3. Escape once, escape twice. Look, here, can I leave? It did. But it's risky. He could still use a lot of strength, okay? So I'll do one more, and now I'm going to spin here. See? Single leg. Secure the single leg. Bring it to your chest. You'll notice that in this transition, when I'm already ready to turn to all fours, the transition goes like this. Look. The elbow stays out. See? Slide your hand, elbow out. Why? Because here, if he still puts any weight on me, my forearm can support him here. Look. If I do this all at once, he puts his weight on me now. I could even get caught in a hand triangle with this move, okay? Besides him putting his weight on top of me and stopping my escape, I end up in a hand triangle. To fix that, elbow out. Only the hand goes inside. Put his weight over there. See? I'm holding him up. And when my hand goes in, my head goes in with it. Drop into the negativer. I came into single leg.